WHCS Channel 29 presents the Hampton High School 1969 basketball state champs versus the Hampton All-Stars, comprised mostly of 1989 All-Star state champions.
Yeah, that's true,
The 89 All-Star team. Hi, I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz, and we are here at Hampton High School for I guess you might call it a first annual and probably the last annual.
Well, you figured it's 20 years between these two state championships, and it really worked out fine. The 69 group had their reunion this weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, out of Fort Monroe, and on different things that they went on, and just as a last minute put this thing together, and we've got a pretty good crowd here today. I notice on the other side it is loaded on those two bleachers sets that are pulled out. So.
Well, what we're going to have here is it's an all-star game, obviously, and the 69 team has challenged the 89 team. Now, the reason that the 89 team will not have its full contingent is because underclassmen, Bob, I'm told by you as we were getting ready to come on the air, the underclassmen cannot participate in this, even though it's just for fun.
That's right. It's the VHSL would not allow them to participate in any basketball game. It's not sanctioned by the VHSL, number one. But we're really fortunate in having a couple of good officials. Joey Lawrence, who has been an official on the Peninsula District for years and years before he retired, and another former Peninsula District official, Jesse Kersey, who is out of the NBA, in fact, refereed the last ball game that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played in. That was the championship game. So then there's a good shot of Jesse with the Clyde Murphy and Joey Lawrence with the beard. That's the back of Jesse, but you'll see Jesse a lot on the on TV.
Old Hampton High people might well remember Jesse Kersey and Joey Lawrence comprising a very strong Fox Hill softball team back in the 60s as well. They had national champions out there in Fox Hill. These two fellas, I believe, played shortstop and second base respectively.
Yes, they were the infield, the big part of that infield. You're right.
At any rate, we have the 69 champs here, and they are comprised, a lot of these fellas came a long way. Some people from Colorado, Texas, and a lot of people are still locally entrenched, but Foley Jones is here, Pat Patrick, Dino Dunn, Mike Anastasio, John Wheeler, Steve Mitchell, Henry Morgan, Howard Day, Ron and Don Saunders, Tom Boo Ford, let's see, Larry Cooper is here, Steve Conlon, Larry Lineberry, Clyde Murphy, David Fisher, and guess what? All these guys have the same number, Bob, so we can 69. Call them number 69.
Right, but their coaches, today their coach is Bob Shamblin, who is currently coaching out at York High School, was the JV coach here at Hampton during the state championship run in 1969, and has since gone on to do just an excellent job of coaching. He was at Warwick for a while. Now he's been out at York High School for a long, long time, and very good friend of mine, and we're glad to have him. And of course, Walter Brower will be coaching the Hampton team.
I don't know if we can pick it up. I don't mean to interrupt you, but Mike Anastasio, the former coach here at Hampton High School, has just entered the gym.
Right, and he was also, his son is one of the guards on this team. One of the guys asked me if I remembered him. Tim, I was coaching when I first started coaching at Buckrow Junior High School, coached against these guys because they were playing at Thorpe at the time. Thorpe was a junior high school, and I remember Anastasio and Patrick as the two little guards that just gave us fits, and they went on to win a state championship. So I was coaching against some pretty potent people.
We're going to try and get as many shots of people in the stands as we can this afternoon. There you see a good shot of the reunion. As you mentioned, this is the 20th reunion of the 69 class, and a lot of the wives and families are here. It's been I understand, a very enjoyable three-day weekend that these folks have been here. As you said, Bob, they've been doing all kinds of different activities.
Yeah, that Fort Monroe Officers Club Friday night, and then they were at the Radisson last night. And I was talking to Pat Patrick earlier, who was going to join us during this telecast, and he said he woke up about 10 o'clock this morning, heard somebody beating a basketball in his backyard, and there was John Wheeler out there working up a sweat at 10 o'clock this morning.
In about half a minute, we're going to switch the pregame ceremonies over to Rick Jacobson, who will be having some special speakers and the singing of the alma mater and other things, as we will be doing that. Just very briefly, I'll tell you that, of course, on that team of 89 champions, we'll have Aaron Johnson, Paul Blackman, Kevin Swan, Donnell Stewart will be there, Rocky Kroom, who we all remember from the football team, Leonard Futrell, and Baruch Harris, among others. And we're going to switch over right now to Rick Jacobson.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hampton High School Crabber Gymnasium, where this afternoon the 1969 state champions play host to the 1989 state champion seniors and all-stars. Before we begin this afternoon's game, we'd like to introduce all the players for both teams. And as I call your name, would you please come to center court? Members of the HHS 89 champions and their all-stars: Art Jones, number 42, 6'7", 190 pounds, graduated in 1977, attended NC State, graduated in 1981. Aaron Johnson, number 12, 5'11", 160 pounds, plays for the Apprentice School, graduated in 1988. Leonard Futrell, number 40, 6'3", 250 pounds, attends Christopher Newport College, graduated in 1988. Number 22, Donnell Stewart, 6'2", 155 pounds, attends Norfolk State, graduated in 1987. Number 24, Rocky Kroom, 6 foot, 180 pounds, attends Hampton University, where he plays football, graduated in 1987. Number 52, Baruch Harris, 6 foot, 4 1/2, 195 pounds, attends the Apprentice School and plays ball for the Apprentice School, graduated in 1988. Two members of the HHS 89 championship team. Number 20, Kevin Swan, 6'2", 145 pounds. And Paul Blackman, number 14, 6 foot, 153 pounds. Coach of the HHS 89 champions, Coach Walter Brower. And now, the team members for the HHS 69 state champions. Playing for the 69 champions today, Clyde Murphy, 6 foot, 185 pounds, from South Point, Ohio. Larry Lineberry, 5 foot 11, 170 pounds, from Roanoke, Virginia. Bob Mann, 6 foot 2, 205 pounds, from Newport News. Steve Conlon, 6 foot 5, 200 pounds, from Golden, Colorado. And now the members of the 69 championship team. David Fisher, 6 foot 3, 185 pounds, from Dallas, Texas. Larry Cooper, 5 foot 8, 160 pounds, from Newport News. Thomas Boo Ford, 5 foot 9, 165 pounds, from Alexandria, Virginia. Don Saunders, 6 foot 1, 155 pounds, from Hampton. Ron Saunders, 5 foot 9, 160 pounds, from Gloucester County, Virginia. Howard Day, 6 foot 2, 170 pounds, from Gloucester County, Virginia. Henry Morgan, 6 foot 2, 150 pounds, from Isle of Wight County. Steve Mitchell played 1 year for the University of Richmond, 6 foot 3, 190 pounds, Hampton, Virginia. John Wheeler played 2 years for the University of Richmond, 6 foot 3, 230 pounds. Mike Anastasio played 4 years for the University of Richmond, 6'1", 190 pounds from Burke, Virginia. Mike Dino Dunn played for the Army overseas, 6'3", 200 pounds from Hampton. Pat Patrick played for UVA, 5'9", 180 pounds from Hampton, Virginia. Foley Jones played 4 years for Columbia University, 6'7", 230 pounds from Chevy Chase, Maryland. Coach of the 1969 HHS state champions today, Coach Bob Shamlin. At this time, Mr. Pat Patrick has some words.
I want to thank everybody for coming out. This ought to be a lot of fun. We do have doctors on call. Some of us may need it. But I want to say a special thank you to Coach Walter Brower, because if it wasn't for his cooperation, this game couldn't have come off. And we really do thank you, and especially the guys that have come back to help us celebrate our 20th year reunion. And regardless of the outcome, we'll play in another 20 years too. But last but not least, we're really fortunate here today to have with us Mr. Joey Lawrence from the Hampton class of 1954, who was a basketball official and called our games back in '69, and can still get up and down the court, but decides not to. And our special guest today is Mr. Jess Kersey. And y'all probably know Jess, NBA official who has been in the NBA for a number of years, one of the senior officials and one of the best officials in the country. And we appreciate him coming out here today. Again, thank you, Coach Brower, and we hope it'll be a lot of fun, and we hope nobody gets hurt.
Thank you, Pat. Before we announce the starting lineups for today's game, would you please rise for our national anthem? Ladies and gentlemen, would you also rise and join in singing if you remember the words to the alma mater? gentlemen, we also have a special guest with us this afternoon. Would Mr. O.E. Ware please come to center court? I'd like to welcome Mr. Ware. He was principal of our school in 1969. A warm welcome to Mr. O.E. Ware.
This is a good shot of O.E., Tim. He was a fixture here at Hampton High School for many, many years.
You know, as a former graduate of this fine institution, I got a little bit of chill when I was singing, or at least listening to the singing of the alma mater. It brought back a lot of memories.
I bet you did.
This is something that I think is great. Reunions are wonderful.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce the starting lineups for this afternoon's game. For the 89 champions and the All-Stars. Starting at guard, number 14, Paul Blackman. Starting at the other guard, number 20, Kevin Swan. Starting at forward, number 52, Baruch Harris. Starting at the other forward, number 22, Donnell Stewart. Starting at center today for the HHS 89 champions, number 42, Art Jones.
Yeah, that's a surprise.
Now the starting lineup for the 1969 champions. Starting at guard, Pat Patrick, 5'9". Starting at the other guard, Mike Anastasio, 6'1". Starting at forward, Mike Dino Dunn, 6'3". Starting at the other forward, John Wheeler, 6'3". At center this afternoon for the champions from 69, Foley Jones, 6'7".
Pretty formidable team.
Yeah, Pat is pointing which goal they want to go to.
For this afternoon's game will be Mr. Joey Lawrence, Mr. Jesse Kersey.
Tim, that was Rick Jacobson giving all this information. We appreciate him using the microphone and everything.
We're just about set to go as this 20th anniversary is winding down for these graduates of 1969 from Hampton High School. The team that they put on the floor is one I very, very vividly remember.
Yes.
Anastasio and Patrick, and of course Foley Jones was a dominant force for that team.
I tell you, they had, I was telling you earlier about the two guards there. Don Musselman is just walked in front of our broadcast booth, which is a table.
That's right. Remembering this game is for fun, folks. As Pat Patrick said, there are doctors in attendance. We'll be playing 4 very long 8-minute quarters for the class of 69. The 89 team probably won't.
Well, they got over 15. They got 17 or 18 people there.
And they'll need them.
89 hasn't got but 8. So.
And it's in the un-air-conditioned gymnasium, I might add. So the ball is controlled by the visitors, the 89 All-Stars.
And they're going to start a 69 All-Stars. Our group are going to start off in a 2-3 zone. They're going to try to play man-to-man. Oh, you can't let Kevin open.
Kevin Swan misses. Pat Patrick with the rebound. Doesn't look like he's lost a step.
No, he doesn't.
Dino Dunn from the corner. Air ball underneath. Anastasio puts it in.
All right.
Big point, Mike Anastasio.
It's nice of you, 69 group. You lead once.
At least, right?
69 leads 2-0.
This is Swan. And they'll kick it back out. The 89 team in the zone. Stewart will fire off the rim, no good. Battled for and controlled by the 89, and then a traveling call.
Oh, called traveling, I think is.
Traveling call. Ball is turned over.
So Baruch Harris is called for steps. Anastasio and Patrick will bring the ball up. John Wheeler, Foley Jones, Dino Dunn round out the 69 team. Inside, big Foley Jones puts a move on Art Jones.
Pat for 3.
Patrick
They only gave him 2.
69 leads 4-0.
No 3 points, maybe, huh?
Stolen by Dino Dunn, and then he loses out of bounds, and it'll go back over to...
Well, we see some quickness in this 69 group, Tim.
6.5 to go here in the first quarter. If you just joined us, we're here at Hampton High School. I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz, and we are watching the All-Star matchup between the 89 state champion All-Stars and the 69 Hampton High School All-Stars. Culmination of the 23 Union weekend here. Ball stolen by the 89 All-Stars. Dish it off. Art Jones traces it down. Inside, Harris puts it in.
Nice passing. And that's teamwork. Teamwork will get a basket for you every time. But
Pat told me before the game that they practiced almost for hours yesterday. Make that 3.5 minutes. He said they all practiced for about 3.5 minutes, and then it was like they hit a wall.
Well, he said in about 10 minutes they looked real good. But then you're right, the wall came up.
I reminded him that this was a 32-minute game. He said, oh no.
Shooting on the line for 69.
Dino Dunn will step to the free throw line for the 69 team. Let's see if we can find out some information about Dino, since he has gone on to bigger and better things. And he misses the front end of the free throw. Let's see here. Mr. Dino Dunn doesn't make our list. And he gets 1 out of 2 on the free throw line.
You do have something on Dino.
Oh, I'm sure we'll find something. Now, let's see. Dino is living in Hampton and played, as you heard during the introductions, for the Army overseas after graduating from Hampton High School. 5-2, the 69 All-Stars. Big Foley Jones clears the boards.
And big he is.
Foley, of course, played 4 years at Columbia University. Nice feed underneath. Dino Dunn puts it on the floor. Reverse layup, no good. Back come the red-shirted 89 All-Stars. Baseline jumper is good by Aaron Stewart. Check that, Donnell Stewart. Donnell Stewart.
Donnell Stewart, 2 points on the jumper.
And 5 minutes to go. Mike Anastasio guarded in the 1-on-1 defense. Jones will fire again.
Oh, turn around. When that ball left his hand, Tim, you can see it was in. Got a nice touch on that ball.
7-4, the 69 championship team. My thinking would be theirs, I'm sure. Get as many points early as you can.
And then stall.
And then stall. Hold the ball.
There's no clock, right?
No clock, no shot clock. Hold the ball. Art Jones double teamed and then took steps.
Traveling call against 89.
Joey Lawrence does the 2-step to indicate the call. Special play being formulated here between Patrick and Anastasio. Pat's feed for Anastasio gets loose. He spots Wheeler open for a moment. Anastasio drives the lane, puts the left-hander up, no good. And Foley Jones will rebound it in.
Quick hands underneath that basket. The 89 team was on the break. They thought they had the ball, but they're behind by 5.
9-4, the 69 All-Stars, or I should say championship team. Free throw, or the top of the key shot is no good. Drive from the same spot, it's short again, and Foley Jones wraps up.
Jump ball, jump ball. Substitutions in the game.
Paul Blackman under the basket.
Steve Mitchell and Boo Ford.
Steve Mitchell and Boo Ford will replace Patrick and Anastasio, and Pat Patrick is going to come over and sit to your left, my left. Where's he going to be?
Get him over on your
here.
side.
For 89, Paul Blackman jumping for the...
We'll give Pat just a moment to suck in some oxygen.
Oh, he doesn't look too bad. He's not real pale.
I was 1 for 1. Can we quit?
Yes. I figured that's time to come out.
Boo Ford and Steve Mitchell have replaced Anastasio and Patrick. Of course, Pat Patrick, as many of you know, is an official in the Peninsula District League and stays in shape, I'm sure, playing racquetball and other things. Is that right, Pat?
Oh, I tried to chase around 2 10-year-olds.
That'll keep you in shape. Pat, are they not using the 3-point at all today, or?
I thought they were.
Because yours was a 3-pointer.
That's what I thought. Let's tell them. I want to change.
We have slow motion instant replay, but not today.
Because if slow motion would be too slow today.
We are not going to be fast breaking these guys.
Well, you know, I was impressed by the burst that you guys have put on. You got a 5-point lead against these younger 89 All-Stars.
We've got a new player in there.
Not quite over the hill.
No. Yeah, these guys stay in shape. You look at them.
Substitution for 69.
The whole key to this game is going to be Bob Shamblin's ability to substitute. I mean, we're going to have to do some of that.
And he has done so. John Wheeler has checked out of the ball game. Who replaced him in there, Pat?
Let's see. I think Howard Day just came in.
Aaron Johnson.
You guys made it tough on us announcers here. All of you are wearing the same number.
Still leads 9-6.
We were afraid to identify ourselves. That's what it was.
Done so to protect the innocent, I believe.
That's
is how they
right.
phrase it. Little less than 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. And I mentioned the fact that I was going to ask you, this gym is not air conditioned. Was that an instant factor when you got out there?
You see how many ball players we have on our bench over there?
I was going to say, I told him you guys are going to run the others in the ground because you got a lot of depth.
I was told that those pretty young ladies over there in the red shorts on the bench would also be available if need be.
They're our inspiration.
I can imagine they are.
Nice drive.
Well, that's the new young man, number 44, Tim, and I'm not sure who that is.
Thanks a lot here, guys. We have no name for 44, but we'll get that.
Yeah, I think Walter saw
That's
that he was
Delano
behind
James.
by a point or two and pulled somebody in from the stands.
I think he's starting to panic, you think?
Well, I mean, you know, he brought in Art Jones to start the ball game with. Guy played pro ball.
Delano James is the number 44, I believe.
He was on the team in '85, I believe.
Yes.
He's a horse.
He really is a big man.
I tell you what, Foley Jones started off looking like a house of fire, didn't he?
He did that.
Brought back great memories.
And Steve Mitchell scores.
Steve Mitchell has been psyched for this game for about 6 months. He's called me every other day.
This has got to bring back some real good memories.
Oh, you know, this is just a lot of fun. It really is, and we're just happy to be out here, and it ought to be a lot of fun.
When we get a break or two here, Pat, maybe at that time you could give us a little breakdown of some of the activities that went on this weekend.
Okay, I'd be more than happy to.
Good block inside by Leonard, I believe he pronounces it.
Leonard, yes.
Leonard Futrell. A minute and a half to go in what probably seemed like an endless 8 minutes for some of the players.
Here's Duroc Kroom hitting another bucket.
Rocky, of course, known for his passing of the football more than he is for his basketball shooting.
Yeah, but he was always a good, solid basketball player.
Yes, he
too.
was. He
Mitchell
did play. When he played on the 87 team, he come off the bench and did a good job.
He really was. Oh, that's got to be a charge. Yes. Tell me Steve Mitchell didn't come to play. He took it right in the nose.
He got two. He got two players, no less.
All right.
So Mitchell stood his ground. If we had slow-mo on the replay today, we'd show that to you, but the blood on the floor is indication enough. No, I'm just kidding. There was no blood on that play yet.
But he did take a good charge.
That was a legitimate charge.
Dave Fisher, I believe, is in the ball game now.
Yeah.
That is
Mitchell again.
Mitchell is psyched up.
And they didn't give us three.
15
Hey, we're going to have to talk to the officials.
I think you're going to.
think I got one, and I think Mitchell just got one.
Well, you know, these officials, what can you say, right?
I know it. I tell you what, Joey Lawrence is getting up and down the court, and he's doing a good job.
Lou Ford handles for
Lou
the
Ford,
69.
another quarterback on the football team.
Yeah, that's
a basketball player too. Good
Lou's-
pass.
Good pass, exactly.
There you go. Great pass.
Steve Conlon scores for the 69ers.
Look at the number of people out here. I think this is great.
For no more publicity that was given out, I couldn't believe the number of fans that we've got here, and they could pull up some more bleachers.
Because what we did was basically say it was going to be for the 69 reunion. We really did not believe that anyone would really show up. We didn't know how many ball players we get.
Tim, look at that score, 20 to 10.
We want to quit.
Come back when you can, Pat.
Thank you, Pat. We appreciate that. That is something else. But they ought to see about pulling out some more bleachers so they can get some more fans to sit down. I don't know how hard it would be to do.
Well, as I said before, I've tried to hide the fact that I'm a former crabber, but I haven't done as good a job as I could at times.
Hey, today you don't hide it.
No, you sure don't.
Because it's crabbers against crabbers, right?
You can't lose today. But this gym brings back a lot of fond memories, not only for the 69 team, the 89 team, but the 64 team that I was a fan of. I was not a participant, but a fan of. And, you know, there's some great tradition here at Hampton High School, and I think we're feeling a lot of that today. The cheerleaders are out on the court right now. We're going to give some mention to them. They are Becky Crenshaw Wright. I would assume the second name here is their
That's the maiden name, right, Tim?
Linda Lackey Carson is out there. Shirley Crane Quinn. Debbie Clifton Frank, who comes to us from Ambler, Pennsylvania. By the way, Becky Wright came all the way from San Pedro, California to be here today. Chris Watson Dunn from Newport News. Layla Duke Robinson from North Carolina, Regina Lee from Hampton, Myrna Hines, and Martha Ritchie Wilson from Manassas.
Cheerleaders at this time that are here.
And we're going to have them introduced now that I've done that.
Head cheerleader for 1969, Becky Crenshaw Wright from San Pedro, California.
See, it's a shame we got slow-mo Joe there to get a shot.
Hampton, Virginia.
There we go.
Frank from Ambler, Pennsylvania. Dunn from Newport News, Virginia. Layla Duke Robinson from Valdez, North Carolina. And Regina Lee from Hampton. At this time, we'd also like to bring Coach Glenn Russell forward.
Oh, Glenn did show, okay.
Glenn says, you're not bringing me forward, you may introduce me. I was told the reason he wasn't coaching, or one of the reasons he didn't want to be out there, was he wanted to remember them the way they were.
Yeah, he said they were fast and smooth.
Well, correct me, because you know, I'm old too, and my memory has failed me. But wasn't Glenn the coach for the 69?
Oh, absolutely. He was the coach. Bob Chamberlain was the JV and assistant coach. Absolutely.
Right, that's what I thought. I didn't know whether I was.
And then Glenn went on up to Lafayette High School, where he was basketball coach there for a few years, and then coached at Christopher Newport for a while. Now he's a teacher at Lafayette, and his golf coach. As far as I know, he's still coaching golf. But actually, what he does is he plays golf, and occasionally the kids to ask him, "When do I play, Coach?"
Well, we played one quarter, and we didn't have to call the paramedics, so I guess we'll play a second quarter. I guess that's how they're figuring out.
Tim, while we got just a second here, I'd like to. This group was a high-scoring group that they had for back in the 69s anyway, but. Oh, that was a nice. But they had a pretty good road going to the state championship. They ended up with a 16-2 regular season win, and the only two losses were to Kecoughtan and Newport News, and those were both non-conference. Back then, they played those two teams twice, once as a conference, once as a non-conference. There's Kevin Swan now. They take a while. Now he's putting up three.
Number 20.
And they gave him three.
That's not fair.
Well, Joey Lawrence doesn't know a three-point evidently.
Oh, but he was before his time probably. See, Jesse knows these things. But at any rate, they're kind of playing with a disadvantage there, because the 69 team got credit for a three-pointer, or rather the 89 team, when the 69 team had two of them. Pat Patrick reaches in and deftly steals the ball, then has it stolen but lost out of bounds.
Well, what's happening is the 69 team are playing with the 69 rules, the 89 are playing with the 89 rules.
Oh, I see.
Maybe that's what's happening.
It would appear that way. This is, again, Pat Patrick, as he came over here and perspired all over our table during that little brief stint. It is hot in the gym today. Left-hander is in by the.
Well, they've cut the lead in half in the first minute of this second quarter.
So it's 20-15. It was 20-10 after the first 8 minutes, as the packed Hampton High School gym, site of the All-Star match, a challenge put out by the 69 state champs against the 89 and whoever could play. And so far, the 69ers have led from the beginning. Dino Dunn handles to Foley Jones. Jones moves on Art Jones, puts the left-hander up, and he is fouled and will go to the free throw line.
Well, that was the only way he was going to get any points, was the foul, because he kind of lost control as he was going towards the thing. But Tim, if you will look through this thing, what really got my attention was the Eastern Regional Tournament when Hampton played Wilson, who at that time had the best offensive team in the state, and a first quarter score was 19-0 in favor of Hampton. They ended up beating them 74-41. So they were an excellent defensive team as well as an offensive team. Glenn Russell and Bob Chamberlain just did an excellent job.
Well, of course, as you mentioned earlier, the 69 team was 16-2 in the regular season. Those only losses to Kecoughtan and Newport News. Then they went on to the Peninsula District Tournament and defeated James Blair, which eventually became Lafayette High School. They beat them by 20, 53-33. We're going to give these scores to you because I hope a lot of the 69ers will want to have a copy of this tape for their files, so later on when they're coming back for the 40th reunion,
yes,
they'll be able to say, I remember I played in that game. At any rate, they beat James Blair. Then they defeated Carver 59-45, and then defeated Pembroke High School.
You see, Pat Patrick Doe, I mean, that was it, the last energy he'd used.
Pembroke High School, a lot of you may recall, before Pembroke became part of the Peninsula District for a number of years, they were defeated by only 3 points. And if my scanning of this scoring serves me correctly, that's as close as anyone came to the Hampton Crabbers that year by a 3-point margin in the Peninsula District Tournament. Then they went on and defeated that highly touted Wilson team you talked about, 74-41, and then they beat Maury. And I remember, because I went to those 2 games, they defeated Maury 58-46. Then they went into the state tournament championship game at Charlottesville. The last time I went up to Charlottesville,
yes,
we watched them defeat Maggie Walker 49-38, and then took Jefferson Senior 49-43. All-state team had Foley Jones. Honorable mention was Dino Dunn and Mike Anastasio. And a time in history at Hampton High School, undoubtedly remembered with great fondness by these 69ers.
There's no doubt in my mind.
All right, we're going to bring in the Saunders.
Henry Morgan's wearing a hat.
The Saunders twins, Don and Ron, and Henry Morgan, who is listed at 6'2". If he stands on a box, he might be 6'2".
He may be 5'2".
They come in, and I might want to record this for history here. It's 21-18 when they took the starters out for the 69ers.
Well, I don't know if Henry's got that hat on to give him some more speed or not, because his wings on his hat.
Saunders inbounds to Henry. Dino Dunn has it stripped and taken by Art Jones, knocked away but regained by Jones. He spots Rocky. Check that. Here is Baruch Harris, and we've got a whistle.
Yeah, it looked like it was called on John Wheeler.
Foul on Johnny Wheeler, that's his first.
Wheeler having a word for Jess Kersey, and in just the sign of the T came up for a minute. At the free throw line, missing on the front end.
While I got a chance, the people that are watching this, if they'd like to get a copy of this tape, they can contact the Hampton School Board and talk to either Dr. Sam Still or Scotty Bowers. Costs $25, and that includes the tape. And then get a tape of this and keep it and watch it and laugh and have a good time. This is a tremendous ending to a fine 69 class reunion.
21-18, the 69ers still leading. They lead by 3 with 5 minutes to go and a whistle and a foul underneath. We haven't had as many timeouts as I had expected we would see. But as Pat alluded to, the 69ers brought a lot of bodies so that they could hopefully stay fresh.
So they could run them in and out, that's true.
Stewart comes in for Baruch Harris for the 89 team. At the free throw line, Saunders. I can't go wrong with that because it's either Don or Ron.
Oh,
Don Saunders.
Don Saunders. See, I knew I had one of them.
Well, we appreciate all that Rick Jacobson's doing for us.
And he hits the second one. 22-18, the 69ers still on top by 4. Kevin Swan looks underneath, bats it back to Jones. Jones puts it up, doesn't go. A nice rebound by Saunders. That's Don to Ron. Ron with the dark glasses, I'm told. This is Henry, guarded closely by Blackman. Saunders puts it up and in. Ron Saunders hits the bucket.
24-18.
Art Jones' shot is no good, but he was fouled, and Wheeler will pick up the personal, and Jess Kersey will pick up the ball as it hit him right in the face.
I don't think he wanted the ball.
I don't think he was looking for it. Packed house here at Hampton High School. This game played Sunday afternoon, the 13th of August, 1989.
Number 42, Art Jones.
Art Jones, who is an assistant. And what is it? Do you know Art's full capacity?
He is the assistant girls basketball coach, and he also helps with the big men and the boys. But I think his capacity is the girls' assistant coach for Ivory Knight
Here at Hampton High School.
Yes.
Art hits the first of two. Seen a couple of other stars from the '89 team out here today. Young man across the way, Bob, with his hat on, sitting at the scorer's table.
Oh, yes. Gannon Baker. Of course, he's undergraduate. Won't be able to play in this game.
Gannon, of course, an intricate part of the championship team, and if I recall correctly, he was instrumental in the victory in that championship game itself. Of course, his dad, Arnie Baker, played in the '64 team here at Hampton High School.
Game for '89 team, Baruch Harris.
4:01 left here.
Baruch
in the
comes in
first
for
half.
Art Jones. Excuse me, Tim.
24-20, the 69ers up by 4. Saunders fires, it's a little short. And Kevin Swan, who goes on to the University of Connecticut, play his college ball this fall. We wish him all the luck. He won't need much luck. He's so talented.
He is a good ball player.
Yeah, you see him
Takes
there
him within 1 point.
Hit a three-pointer.
Point basket for the '89 team, Kevin Swan, number 20.
So the 69 team now has, if I, again, identify these people correctly, and forgive me if I don't, I believe that's Steve Conlon, who is out there now for the 69. This is Henry. No, it won't go. Henry Morgan, of course, a favorite of that 69 team.
Oh, nice feed from Kevin Swan.
To Baruch Harris for the basket.
And that gives them the first lead of the ball game.
25-24, and now they start to run a little bit on the 69ers. Shamlin may consider a timeout here momentarily to regroup a little bit. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Henry Morgan, his pass picked off by Kevin Swan. Swan wants to go for the jam, but he elects to roll it in nonetheless.
Kevin Swan, 2 points on the layup. 89 leads, 27-24.
Dino Dunn at half court, double teamed, and then calls timeout.
Again, the defensive pressure is picked up a hair by this 89 group. Of course, again, as you alluded to earlier, they've substituted and we don't have any of the starters in. I always watch your eyes, Tim. I am getting you down.
I'm looking around here and I'm seeing all these
you weren't looking. I'm gonna tell. No, I'm not gonna say a word. Tim was.
Jess Kersey, incidentally, just to recall a little bit, he and Joey Lawrence refereed in those years of the '69 team. Of course, Kersey and Lawrence, as I started to mention earlier in our cable cast, were an intricate part of the Fox Hill team.
If I'm not mistaken, Joey may have been the catcher on that team, but I believe Bud Porter played on the team. Some of the other people played on the team, but they had a national championship team from Fox Hill at that time.
This game will be broadcast on Channel 29 Monday night at 8 o'clock, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, and Friday morning at 9 a.m.
And we're going to show it until we get it right.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
And of course, as you mentioned earlier, thank you.
A videotape of this game.
Ron's going to tell the folks here, or being Rick rather.
At Dr. Still's office, or see Scotty Powers. $25 for a videotape of this game.
And $24.95 of that goes in our pockets, right, Bob?
Yeah.
No, actually, that'll barely cover the cost of the tape, let alone the production. I want to thank our crew out here today.
Oh, absolutely. We've got Slow-Mo Joe on one of the cameras. In fact, he's on the mobile camera. And Angela Brown is up in the, it's got the stationary camera behind us. And of course, Scotty Bowers out in the truck. And so we're in a skeleton crew.
Yeah, Bev is out there too, right?
Yeah, I got Bev Thaxton Penn that's out in the truck. And I don't want to forget her. She'll smack me.
That's right. Where's AG?
AG, I don't know where AG is. And Scotty said something I missed.
He said that if you're not nice to her, Bev will spell our names wrong.
Put it down.
She
Tim Henson.
That's right. She knows how to hurt a guy.
Bob Cole, huh?
Steve Mitchell with a turnaround jumper off the glass, no good. Steve, as Pat mentioned, he came out here with a seriousness in his eye. I mean, they're playing this for fun, but he's playing like he's playing on that championship game. Kevin Swan with the reverse layup, and now the 89ers have jumped out to a 7-point lead. Saunders and Saunders with the ball. Kevin Swan picks it off, but he was standing on the out-of-bounds line when he did so.
Well, we got 3 people for the Foley Jones coming in, Fisher coming in, and I missed the other one. I don't know who the other one is. Dino's in there.
Dino Dunn, and that's all. That's yeah. You just mentioned David Fisher. That's Steve Mitchell. I think you got a good point. Our director, Scotty Bauer, said they may have wanted to consider 2 4-minute halves rather than.
Yeah, they had the game won. That was it. By 10 points, no less.
That's true. Fisher will inbounds to Foley Jones. Dino Dunn outside. Inside for Mitchell. Mitchell off the glass and in. Steve Mitchell unofficially, and I mean unofficially because we've been talking so much I haven't really been keeping score. But he's got 8 points this afternoon. Foley Jones with the rebound. He's hammered, no call, and Fisher gets the rebound for the 69ers. Lead pass for Dino Dunn. The alley-oop was a little bit above his head.
Well, the mind said yes, but the body said,
Less than a minute to go here in the first half. 31-26. The 89ers on top. Shot is long, and Foley Jones wipes the board clean. This is Steve Mitchell, along with Booth Ford, Foley Jones, Dino Dunn, and David Fisher for the 89ers. Excuse me, the 69ers. I'll get it right yet. Mitchell is fouled, and he'll get 2 shots. Jess Kersey indicates the foul will be charged to number 24, Rocky Kroom.
Foul called on number 24.
Here you see Glenn Russell on the right of your screen and Bob Chamlin to his right.
and if you see the gentleman standing right behind them with the white shirt and the dark pants, that's Woody Patrick, Pat's father.
And he's standing over there with Pat's lovely wife, and I wonder if that isn't one of Pat's sons there to the you see there's a couple of young boys, and then one of the boys got a haircut that if your mom made you wear that to school, you'd never go to school, but as long as it's your choice, that's what you go with.
Well, he said he's got 2 10-year-olds that's keeping him busy.
Well, that might be them. Steve Mitchell hits the free throw. 32-26 is our score.
20.
Well, now they got it right here. They got to take some away. They gave the points to the wrong. Fans getting irate in the stands there. 32-28, a 4-point lead for the 89ers. And that is them with the ball. 33-28, they'll get it right. Gannon Baker is a heck of a basketball player, but he's not a great scorekeeper. Inside of 20 seconds to go, the 89ers holding the ball. 31-28 now. We're told that the official score.
Well, they hold for the last shot. It was 10 seconds and counting. Now it's down to 5.
From 3-point range, it's good. And a buzzer sounds, ending the first half.
That's quite a turnaround from the first half of 20 to 10.
69-28.
The 69 didn't score but 8 points in that second quarter. And we're outscored by 24 by the 89 group.
There will be a 15-minute intermission.
Joey Lawrence just wanted to know how far Hampton General is from here.
Should have told him they haven't.
Woody.
They haven't moved to Hampton General since Joey was around here, so we'll get him squared away. But we're going to take a brief pause here at halftime, and we'll come back with more of this activity, the game between the 89 All-Stars and the 1969 Hampton State Champion basketball team. This is Tim Cole with Bob Hintz. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Tim Cole with Bob Hintz back at Hampton High School's gymnasium. We're about set to go with the second half.
We just got the word from Pat Patrick. He said that he argued that he did have the three-pointer. Joey Lawrence didn't know about it, so they got it. and so everything's okay.
I'd like to announce that the class of 69 is selling mugs with 69 Hampton crackers on the side.
Well, we're glad to hear they got it. So I don't have any kind of scoring statistics for you because we were chatting so much I lost track of it. I can tell you that in the first quarter, the 69ers were ahead by 10. They were up there. You see someone who will be in the class of probably, what, 2009?
2009, yes.
But at any rate, the 69ers came out and had a 10-point lead after 8 minutes, and then they took most of the start. There you see Don Musselman, who goes St. Barbara I do. There you see Dr. Don. Don and yourself and I had a chance to chat before the game, and of course Don is one of the staunchest supporters of all of the Hampton City schools.
Absolutely.
Anytime they're playing each other, he has a real tough time because he tries to be as unbiased as he can, and he has to make sure he maintains that post.
Well, and he was principal at Phoebus High School before he became superintendent, so he might have a little bit of loyalty there to Phoebus, but he does a good job of supporting all athletics in Hampton.
I understand that these two young ladies, these pretty young ladies, that Mr. Webb said,
yes,
part of the Hints
yes,
entourage now.
That's my new daughter-in-law.
And what is her name, Bob?
Susanna Dyson Hintz, and to soon become a mama and me a granddaddy.
Oh, my
I am
gracious.
tickled to death.
I know you are, and I had a chance to chat with those two young ladies early before we came on, and you seem to have found yourself a couple of real sweethearts. That's her sister with her.
Scoring in the first half for the 1969 team. Foley Jones has 5 points. Pat Patrick has 3. Mike Anastasio.
They did give Pat that three-pointer, but I don't know if they put it on the board or not.
Dino Dunn has 1. Steve Conlon has 2. Donald Saunders has
I think
1.
what I asked Joey if he wanted the ball right away. Him and Jesse said they're going to wait a second. I guess the 69 cheerleaders are going to give us they're going to do some cheers, so we'll be able to pick that up before the start of the second half. I think the tactic here is the 69 group needs all the rest they can get. They want an extended halftime.
Will Bill Council please come to center court? Bill Council was a member of the 1939 state championship basketball team. Bill Council.
You may have been able to pick that up. Bill Council is going to be asked to come out to the center court.
He was the captain of the 1939.
He was the captain. Bill Council is.
But I was 39, 69, 89.
Please come forward.
We're going to see if we can. Here he comes. There, you may pick him up momentarily as he's walking out to the center of the court. Spry young man from the 39 championship team. See there, we see him there with the glasses on, walking over to talk to Rick Jacobson, who has been so helpful to us.
It sure is a thrill to be here this afternoon. And it was 50 years ago that we won that championship in 1939. I wonder if any of the other fellows are here when they ever won that squad. 1939. Would you all stand up? Yeah, 39 team. Anybody here from that team? Okay.
Bill's asking for members of the 39 team to stand up. Some of them here, and of course, Pat Patrick.
On behalf of the 1969 team, here's a shirt and mug. You can always change that 6 to a 3 if you want to, but we're glad you made it, Mr. Campbell. Thank you. And could you suit up for the second half? No? Okay.
Pat, at this point, looking for any recruits he can find.
I'd also like to announce that there will be a post-game party in Buckrow at Nancy Bagley Adams Cottage at 734 North 1st Street.
Oh,
This is on tape. So
whole crew liable to show up at that post-game party.
now we're going to have some cheers led by the cheerleaders of 1969, and you heard them introduced earlier. I unfortunately don't know them by name, but you're going to see them. Joe's going to swing around there and see if we can't get a shot of them. We've got their names, but the names.
Yeah, but that's the one that's out in front. Becky Crenshaw Wright is the one that's out in front.
Let's see if we can pick it up.
That was a dangerous move. Well received. Oh, this has been a fine turnout.
34 points.
Jess, you're looking good. If Joey doesn't lose his britches, he's going to be okay.
This has been fun, I'll tell you. When you called me earlier in the week and said, hey, we're going to do the 69-89 All-Star game, and your first information was that it was football.
Well, I don't know why, because we're in football season. I'm thinking,
sure.
well, but how can they do that?
Well, these poor 69ers have been dead. They've been dead in 5 minutes in the heat, the humidity. But let's give them credit. These boys have hung tough here. They're only down by 6.
Well, and it should be 5 if they gave the 3-pointers, but, well, that's the way it goes. But there's a good shot of Mr. Council along with Coach Musselman, Don Musselman.
And the tap to start the second half is controlled by the 89ers. They include on the court Kevin Swan, number 20. Art Jones. This is Kevin Swan, guarded by Wheeler and Patrick. Swan will shoot for 3. It doesn't go. And Wheeler tips it over to Mike Anastasio, who spins and pirouettes beautifully and hands over to Patrick.
Well, I tell you, it brings back memories. I can remember seeing this group play, and they passed the ball and moved the ball well.
I think Wheeler was an underclassman on that team, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Patrick can't get it to go. Wheeler gets the rebound, and he and Art Jones battle for it. Art Jones brings it down the court. Nice feed, dish underneath. Kevin Swan off the glass. The left-hander goes.
Basket underneath.
36-28, a little more than 7 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
28.
Almost a full house here in at least the stands that have been unfolded for this game. Wheeler hustles to get the ball, saves it to Dino Dunn. Anastasio, baseline jumper, puts it up. And he is fouled, and bodies are going everywhere. Joey Lawrence indicates the foul will be charged against the 89ers, and that is going to be Paul Blackman charged.
I wish we had the mic on Patrick. He's carrying on, having a good time out there.
Pat's so shy and withdrawn, you know. Have you ever noticed that? As I mentioned before, Patrick, of course, on this team, he has since been doing a lot of officiating in the Peninsula District.
And Pat told me that if he could, he'd give up his law practice and do what we're doing. I don't know if he needs to see a doctor or not.
He'd certainly need to see his accountant, that's for sure.
Definitely. But he said he enjoys when we invite him over and let him speak. We really appreciate his expertise. So
I'm going to try and get him back over here in the second half. Hold on a second. We'll get Pat to come over here because I did want to ask him to detail some of the activities that have been going on this weekend, and hadn't had a chance to do so yet. Anastasio misses the front end and misses the second one as well, something he did not do very often on that 69 team. If I remember correctly, he was one of the better free throw shooters.
Yes, he was.
Kevin Swan playing catch with Delano James. Three-pointer is no good. Foley Jones has it and tips it over to Mike Anastasio, trying to fast break, and then thinks better of it. Almost threw the ball back to Joey Lawrence, the official. Patrick looking for Wheeler at the baseline. Gives instead to Foley Jones at the top of the key. Dino Dunn looks inside. Patrick will fire for 3. It's off the rim a little strong. Wheeler with a good rebound. Out to Dino Dunn. He'll shoot for 3. No. Foley Jones, no. Jones had it and finally is controlled by Baruch Harris. The ball heading precariously for our broadcast position. We've lost our monitor. I'm not sure. We'll have to check and see if we've lost it for good. Oh, yeah, we lost it. We're okay.
They lead 36-28.
Foley Jones almost one of the broadcast team there.
Here it comes back. Now we can see what we're missing.
5:50 left in the third quarter, 36-28. Art Jones' shot doesn't go, but Baruch Harris tips it in for the 89ers. Patrick and Wheeler.
38-28.
John Wheeler guarded by Harris. Left hand hook shot is no good. Kevin Swan Dish. Oh, nice feed as Delino James finishes the fast break. Paul Flatley. All right.
Young legs. Young legs.
Now we're told it's Paul Flatley was the man who shot. Dino Dunn spins and shoots.
Now that's what this 69 group's going to have to do. They're just going to have to muscle it inside. They don't have the legs aren't strong enough for them to shoot those long shots, and they are huffing and puffing.
Let's give them credit, though. They look pretty good out there, you know?
Yes, they do.
Been 20 years since they played in high school ball. Some of them, of course, went on to college ball. And you know some of these guys stay in shape playing racquetball and the like, but it's a whole different thing to go out here and run up and down this court, as you well know. Looks like Pat's going to come over here as Foley Jones will check out. See if Pat's still in the game. They may need him for a fifth player. Pat was premature in his departure, I believe. He's so anxious to get over here and be on the mic.
Well, he thought he was really going to get a breather.
Patrick drives the lane, dishes it off. It's kicked out of bounds. It'll belong to the 69ers. Dino Dunn, two-hand set shot is a little strong, and it was last touched by the 69ers. In now for, or rather the 89ers, in now for the 69ers is Steve Mitchell in the black shorts. This is John Wheeler spinning and shooting, and Jess Kersey has a foul underneath.
John was a real good post pivot man. He could play very well with his back to the basket, which is, that's not an easy thing to learn to do.
Wheeler will go to the free throw line, and the cheerleaders give him the encouragement. I would imagine, among other things, the free throw shooting is the toughest to hone when you consider that that's something that takes an awful lot of practice.
And if you don't practice every day or play every day, it's your mind is telling you what to do, but the hand or the follow through or something, it doesn't take much to miss it. But he got the second half of it.
You know, when you think about it, of course, one of the true tests of physical stamina and coordination is to run up and down the court sweating and breathing extremely hard, and then stop all of a sudden and shoot a free throw in a calm, calm status. It's really not that easy to do if you're not used to doing it. Dino Dunn spots Steve Mitchell, a running one-hander, no good. And Dave Fisher comes out with a rebound for the 69ers. Into Wheeler. Mitchell breaking for the basket. Wheeler looking like he did in 69. Ball tipped out to Pat Patrick. Pat gets a pick, shoots a three-pointer. It's short. And it's rebounded by the 89ers. Nice move to the hoop by number 22, Donnell Stewart for the 89ers.
Basket, Donnell Stewart.
3:48 left in the third quarter, 42-31. If you just joined us, you're watching the 69 championship high school basketball team from Hampton High School as Wheeler's one-hander from the three-point range misses.
Glenn Russell said, no, that's not your shot.
So not only was it, it never was, right?
It isn't now, and it wasn't then.
You're watching the 69 All-State championship team against players from the 89 championship team, as well as you see Henry Morgan coming out with a wheelchair to help John Wheeler off as he heads to the sidelines. Not a moment too soon with that wheelchair, I think, Pat. Pat has joined us.
I just didn't hit him hard enough.
Is that what it was?
I slapped at him. I pushed him.
You all have looked good, though, Pat. We've been giving you a lot of praise here. This is not easy to come out here and play against these kids.
No, and the worst thing that could happen was for us to come out and get a hit.
Yeah, that's right.
Because all of a sudden they said, these guys are a little bit too serious. We're going to push it up a notch.
Yeah, they did pick up the defensive intensity, stepped up a notch or two.
Pat, while we watch the action, could you detail a little bit for us what's been going on during this weekend?
Sure. Well, it's our 69th.
That is if you have your breath now.
It's our 20th year reunion. And we had a get-together out at Fort Monroe on Friday night and had a big turnout. And had practice yesterday morning for the basketball team.
How long have you guys known about this game? Now, this is just a last-minute thing, wasn't it?
Well, it was kind of interesting. About 6 months ago, I made light of the fact that you know, Hampton's basketball team's really looking tough this year. And I said, you know, it'd be kind of interesting to see the 69 team play the 89 team. And then they went ahead and won the state championship, and so it just kind of got pulled together then.
Oh, I think it's a natural. I think it's a real natural.
Yeah, it really is. And it was, you know, a lot of people were going, well, you're crazy. And I said, well, you know, sure, we can't keep up with them, but it'll be fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And look at the number of people that
I
here.
think it's terrific.
This is great. And a lot of the people here are people from 1969 who followed that team all the way to Charlottesville.
Sure.
And it's great to see them. I hope that a lot of them will start following the 89 team and get back involved in high school basketball in the area.
We had talked about this earlier in other broadcasts, that it seems like the crowds aren't as big as they used to be. You used to have to stand in line at 4 o'clock to make sure you got in to see the ball game.
My mother would leave for my basketball game before I would get home from school.
Yep.
She would leave me. I used to always eat a steak before every game. And she would have to leave the steak in the grill. All I'd have to do is turn it on. And which there were a number of games that she had to leave before I got home from school, and especially when it was Newport News or kicking
Oh,
day.
absolutely.
No question.
This place would really rock.
It would be packed as soon as they opened the doors at 5 o'clock for the 6:15 JV
That's
game.
right.
I very well remember that because I was one of those students that would stand up in '64 when I was following Warren Chapman and
Right.
WR and all those boys.
That's
But I
right.
followed the team. In fact, I went to the '69 championship game in Charlottesville and followed you guys through that. I never, realized that it would turn out to be the last time I watched you guys play in the championship. But it was a wonderful time, and I'm sure that the class of '69 has some wonderful memories of those times.
Well, I've told people all along, I said, I enjoyed college, I enjoy a lot of things, but I don't know that there's anything that'll compare to winning the state championship that year. I mean, I will always remember and cherish that. That was just a great feeling.
It sure was.
And especially with about 10 seconds to go in the game, and it was pretty well locked. I look over there at the bench, and daggone it, there and my father sitting on the end of the bench, because he was always my biggest fan.
Yep.
And he just, he had gotten down out of the stands and come right there and sat at the end of the bench. I thought it was great.
Those are things that you just never forget.
That's exactly right.
You enjoy those memories forever, and I'm hoping that a lot of the 69ers will want to get a copy of this tape. Of course, if they live in Hampton, they can tape it right off the old Channel 29 on Monday and Wednesday. But I think they'd have a good time watching some of this.
Well, I think every one of them's already said they want a copy of it. They just want to see how old they really do look.
Well, and we're getting a lot of the shots of the stands and all, which is going to be good. So they'll be able to see themselves and see some of the people that maybe they didn't get a chance to talk to as long as they wanted to at the reunion. So,
well, you got Coach Mike Anastasio up in the stands, who was coach here in Hampton, and the Warren Chapman, Arnie Baker era. And you got Ross Mitchell, who has for years followed Hampton sports, and Bill Council, who's here from the 39 team. It's just great to see these people. It really is.
Well, that goes back to the tradition that has been almost always has been a Hampton feeling. I'm a former crabber, as I mentioned, and you just keep that feeling forever. There's something about that, and it's a wonderful tradition. Well, where did you see Warren Chapman in the stands? I was wondering if we might be able to pick him up. Did you see him out here today?
No, I haven't seen Warren. I saw Tommy Soder, that you probably remember, who played ball
I remember Tommy.
in '65.
but we had a picture of Mike Anastasio. Mike Senior on earlier. He was on the screen. It's good to see.
Well, let me ask you a question, Pat. This is a tough one. I don't mean to interrupt you, but we're going to be looking at a member of the Patrick family sometime down the road, hopefully playing basketball for Hampton High.
Well, right now you might see two of them playing for Phoebus High, because that's the zone we're in.
Well, you're going to have to move, Pat. You can't.
No, I can't afford to move. But they're here today. In fact, my wife and two boys are leaving as soon as the game's over to go on vacation, and so we put it off till the last possible moment. and she's driving because we've got a van, so I'm sure I'm going to be stretched out in the back. I'm going to pay my boys to massage my body.
Well, is one of your sons the young man with the unusual haircut? Is that?
Yeah, that's Jason. Jason's a great kid, and he has always wanted to get his hair cut the way he wanted. And I've looked at it this way: he's a great kid. He's a good student, you know, and if he wants to be an individual with his hair.
You know,
it's wild.
It goes back, but Pat, it goes back to us when you were in high school in '69. When I was in high school in '64, we all had something that our parents said, "My God, how can you stand those long sideburns?" Or
exactly.
Or in the '69, you had the long hair, you know, the shoulder length hair and everything else. You still have some of that. I think it's wonderful myself that kids today can express themselves in that manner, and it doesn't mean that they're
harmless.
Absolutely.
Like Woody, my other son. It's like it was totally shaved off, but there's a little spot up front. Haven't figured out what it is. It's a modified pineapple.
It's his own thing, right?
Yeah, but you tell them you ask them what it is, and they can't tell you either. They just go into the barber shop and tell the barber what they want, and the guy shakes his head, laughs a little bit, looks around to see if Mama says it's okay, and then that's it. He goes for it.
51-36 after 3 quarters.
Well, it's about 15 points closer than I thought it'd be at this point.
We figured it out, Pat. Our director, Scotty Bowers, told us a little earlier. He says you guys should have played 2 4-minute halves, and you guys would have won.
Hey, I know it. Well, maybe we'll do that next time.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going back on the other side now.
Go join your teammates, Pat, again, and always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you for letting me come over.
Our
Good
pleasure.
seeing you, Pat.
We'll see you during the basketball season, I'm sure.
Support of Coach Walter Brower and also Mr. Lowell Thomas.
You want to bring a towel over here, Pat? This man just lost about 4 pounds of perspiration on the table here. Pat is such a nice person, and he is one of the officials this year. You know, I've never been a great fan of officials, as you and I have talked about. You neither. Used to have a few run-ins with them, but
Well, I tell you the truth. Now, when I was coaching, the best official that I ever had was Jesse Kersey. And I'm not saying that because Jesse is now doing NBA, but Jesse Kersey was the most consistent, and that's all you can ask out of an official. If you're going to call him close, you call him close all over. You're going to call him loose, whatever. But the kids could adjust to his calls, and they played a game, and they didn't have to worry about the official because they knew how it was going to be called. Some of these officials want to be the center of what's going on, and that's not what this is about. This is high school athletics. The kids are what's important, not the officials, not the announcers. You know, the kids are the ones that's important. So I always thought Jesse was an excellent coach when I was coaching over at Bethel High School, and I was really glad to see him go on and do such a tremendous job that he has done with the NBA.
well, you know, that's a real good point. You and I got a chance to really appreciate the tournament atmosphere and the excitement, because we were very fortunate this previous season to follow Hampton High School to both the state football and basketball championships. So you get a chance to really feel that. And as Pat said, he played college ball. He's done a lot of different things in his life, but he'll never forget those high school experiences. And if I could give a message to anyone in high school right now, it's enjoy high school, because there's nothing like it.
That's right. You can't go back and recapture it again.
Although many of us try. There's some out here today trying. These 69ers have done a good job of representing their older generation against the 89ers. They've played a good ball game, and they're just 15 points down. When you consider how bad it could be, they've done a good job. Of course, they've got some very talented men out here too. You might easily see that. They only practiced for a couple of days.
They played Saturday morning was the first practice they had, I believe.
Well, the 89ers now have Wheeler, Foley Jones, Dino Dunn, Boo Ford, and Dave Fisher on the court for the 69ers. We'll give you the 89ers when we can. That's a turnaround jumper by Art Jones. The rebound put up and in by Donnell Stewart, who was out on the court.
22, Donnell Stewart.
Kevin Swan, 20, is out there. 44, Rocky Kroom is out there. Check that, Rocky is 24. And back come the 89ers. A 1-on-2 left-handed prayer put up by Kevin. It doesn't go. Ford and Fisher, the backcourt. Quickly down the court for Dino Dunn. Foley Jones drives and puts it up. He's fouled. Good follow by Wheeler there.
Yes.
John Wheeler got the follow shot to go, but it was after the whistle. 6:57 left here in the ball game. This is the meeting between the 89 All-Star team with some of the players from the Hampton Championship team against the 69 state champion basketball team.
Substitution for 69.
And they grew in numbers, of course. A lot of these fellas played in different years for Hampton during that time.
Now we got Clyde Murphy back in.
Foley Jones connects. Living in Chevy Chase now. Big Foley, 6'7", 230 pounds. Has maintained his trim figure. There'll be a lot of Ben Gay used tonight by these fellas, I guarantee
There'll
you.
be a lot of Ben Gay, you're right. The stores better stay open late.
Three-pointer is no good. Dino Dunn has the rebound for the 69ers. Ford handling the ball. Of course, he's known for his football prowess as well. Boo Ford for 3 points. No. And Kevin Swan crashes the board, spots Art Jones down court, but he's picked up by Ford. Now underneath, a good feed, and the basket is good by Paul Blackman.
Underneath, number 14, Paul Blackman.
Don Saunders and Steve Mitchell getting ready to check back. I tell you, Steve Mitchell's played a heck of a game for the 69ers. He's got 10 points. Murphy underneath the basket was a little too far underneath. And back come the 89ers. And now that youth starting to tell.
Yeah, the legs are not as young as they used to be. And 89, they're getting down the floor much quicker.
They're just getting loose, I think. Wheeler to Murphy, and it's lost out of bounds. Last touched by the 69ers. Now Mitchell and Saunders.
Mitchell and Ron Saunders.
Ron Saunders, the one with the dark glasses.
Foley Jones comes out along with Boo Ford. Paul Blackman handling the ball for the 89ers. Kevin Swan for 3. It doesn't go, but he gets his own rebound. And it's knocked away, controlled by the 69ers.
I tell you, Mitchell is unbelievable. He's all over the floor out there.
This is Steve Mitchell. Dino Dunn across the lane, puts up the 10-footer, and it's good.
Michael Dino Dunn, 2 points.
57-39. Heavy contact underneath.
Wheeler's picked up his 3rd foul.
Wheeler.
That was something else he did well, if I recall. No, I'm just teasing.
Well, he is a physical ball player.
He was an inside man, and that's where you're going to draw those fouls, sure.
But I even saw Glenn Russell get up and do some yelling and screaming over there.
Glenn
He's getting into the flow of the game, too.
Did Glenn ever yell and scream?
Oh, yes, he did. Most certainly, especially on the golf course.
Yeah.
Now, get out of that trap. Not behind the tree. Stay out of the rough. No, Glenn's a good golfer.
Dino Dunn for 3. Dino Dunn hit a 3-pointer.
59-42.
Stolen but regained by the 89ers, and the reverse layup by Swan is good. Well, we're going to be having our football season underway here very shortly.
Ooh, September the 2nd.
Channel 29 is going to bring you 10 Dynamite Peninsula District football games, and I'm told if it holds up, we're going to have a couple of them live. And in fact, depending on the readiness of the new stadium, we very likely will have the Hampton Tab game live from Todd Stadium. Again, that is still not.
Well, that's all tentative, and that'll be the September the 2nd if that's true. If the Darley Stadium is ready, then we will come out of there with the Hampton Tab game September the 1st. And we do have another game, which is, I think it's the 8th or 9th game of the season. Bethel High and Ferguson High School will be coming out of Todd, and that will be live. So it's all depending upon availability of Darling Stadium, and it's really shaping up. But when you put the sod down, it's got to have at least 6 weeks or so to root in, I guess, so that it doesn't pull up and all that. So I would feel better if they didn't play anything for a month or so and let that grass get good, and you know, and it's going to be an awesome stadium when we get it in down there.
The word we get unofficially from just, you know, talking with people in general is that they don't want to do it with the stadium until it's right. They don't want to rush things. They would rather open the season at Darling 2 or 3 or 4 weeks late than it would be to go in there and tear up that beautiful new stadium turf and to, you know, work under less than ideal conditions. So with that in mind, it's likely that there will be a minor delay, but we're going to be in that stadium, and I rode by there the other day, and that just looks like a super facility, and it's going to be great when they finish it.
Oh.
But in the interim, in the event that Darling is not ready, they'll be playing a lot of the games at either Todd Stadium or Hampton University.
Hampton University, absolutely.
So we'll be giving you, but we got 10 of them, 10 regular season games lined up, and they're going to be great ones. I hope you'll join us here on Channel 29 for our high school coverage of Peninsula High School football.
Game of the week.
Game of the week is right. We talked with Danny Mitchell. He's been, of course, very active with the football team over at Hampton High School. They've been doing the 2-a-days and getting in shape, and he's extremely excited about the prospects for the Crabbers.
Well,
course,
not only that,
bad news for the rest of the peninsula.
Right, but next Friday is they're having a scrimmage game next Friday.
I guess Steve Mistral chased Kevin Swan into the corner.
And then get the rebound. That is hustling. 69 team is hustling. Hearts of champions out there.
Well, you know, we talked about it before. If you're a winner in 69, you're a winner in 89 because you always have that winning attitude.
Yes.
64-42, pretty much the way folks had figured this score would end up in the favor of the 89ers because of those younger legs and this very warm Hampton High School gymnasium. There you see one of our crew members just at the bottom of your screen. That's slow-mo Joe Lewis, who will be manning the instant replay for our football season. We got lots of
he's waving to us.
good and, lots of good things coming your way. I'm getting really excited about it. I can't wait for the football season to start.
I can't either. In fact, I'm so excited. I'm taking the week before. I'm going to go out to Portland, Oregon. Why? Don't ask me why. Because I still don't know why. But I'm going out there for about 5 days.
That ball laid up on the rim for seemingly minutes and finally came off rather than going in. Steve Mitchell knocked it away, but he reached in and fouled Kevin Swan in doing so. Now we have an embrace between the official and the red-shirted 89ers. 3:28 left here in the ball game, and what's been a very enjoyable afternoon for a lot of these people, and myself included. Been fun watching this game. Hope you've enjoyed it. As Bob mentioned earlier, if you're desirous of having a copy of this, if you're from the 69 school year and you'd like to have it, or for any reason at all, you can contact Dr. Sam Still's office.
Well, if you're from the 68 or the 70, it doesn't make any difference when you are. If you just like to get a copy of this tape, it'd be nice to see these guys, the Wheelers and the Mitchells and the Anastasios and the Patricks and all, and of course the Swans.
Anyway, contact Dr. Sam Still's office over at the Nickerson Boulevard address, 1819 Nickerson Boulevard, and they'll be glad to get you a copy. Ball stolen and put in by Paul Blackman, who was such an intricate part of that 89 championship game. Shot is short. Dino Dunn rebounds and puts it in.
We got a timeout because we're going to finish up. Pat's coming back in. Anastasio's coming in. Looks like Foley Jones is coming back in. Looks maybe they're going to end up with the starters back out on the floor for the last 2.5 minutes.
Let me take a minute, Bob, while we have this timeout, just to run down again the names of these players that participated for the 69ers today. I'm not sure all of them got a chance to play, or if they did, they didn't play an equal amount of time, but certainly contributed was Foley Jones and Pat Patrick, Mike Dino Dunn, Mike Anastasio, John Wheeler, Steve Mitchell, Henry Morgan, Howard Day, Ron Saunders and Don Saunders, Boo Ford, Larry Cooper, Steve Conlon, Bob Mann, Larry Lineberry, Clyde Murphy, and David Fisher. And again, our thanks to Joey Lawrence and Jess Kersey for their officiating in the game today.
And also Rick Jacobson over there doing all the announcing, and we appreciate his input from this, because he gave us a lot of stuff to do this with. So
Couldn't have even started to do it without it.
No way.
Rick Jacobson helped us out. And the coaches again, Bob Chamlin and Glenn Russell showed up. They weren't sure he was going to be here for sure, but he did show. Of course, Walter Brower and the 89ers, and we'll run down Aaron Johnson's name, Paul Blackman, Kevin Swan, Donnell Stewart, Rocky Kroom, Leonard Futrell, Baruch Harris, Art Jones, Delano James, and of course Walter Brower coaches the 89ers. 2.5 minutes to go, 68-44. 89ers with a comfortable lead. Baseline jumper is good. And yet another name and number we can't give full credit to. That's number 34. And
it may be LeSueur.
Some of the 89ers showed up.
It might be Mike LeSueur.
2 points underneath.
Maybe Rick will tell us before we're through here if he scores another basket. Patrick, Jones, Wheeler, Anastasio, and Dunn on the floor for the 69ers. Foley Jones, no good. And Anastasio knocked it away, and it was last touched by the 89ers. A little help from Joey Lawrence.
Joey's been a little lenient.
Little giving on some of his calls and no calls. Dunn open in the corner, set shot, because he probably can't jump anymore. I wouldn't be able to after playing this long. I'm just kidding. Dino looks like he's in great shape.
I'd have to jump if I was going to shoot it that far away.
Minute and a half to go. Way outside, three-pointer, no good. And Wheeler with the board for the 69ers. Pat Patrick bringing it up left-handed. Mike Anastasio spots Dunn moving to the bucket. Yes!
Give and go.
Dino Dunn. Awesome. 89 leads 70-48.
Three-pointer from the corner.
73-48.
Inside of a minute to go. Wheeler spots Foley Jones open. He fakes and shoots and puts it in.
Foley Jones underneath, 2 points.
The nice feed from John Wheeler, and he did that a lot. You get the ball, if you can't get it, and you look for somebody open under the basket.
Mike LeSueur is, in fact, who we thought it was. Number 34 just shot that one and made it. Foley Jones can't get it to go. 25 seconds to go, 75-50. And Jones knocks it away. Anastasio comes up with it. He spots Patrick down in the corner. He's going to fake the shot to him, put it up, and it's no good. Left-handed shot by Anastasio. And Jones called for the personal foul. 9 seconds to go. Patrick getting all over the officials now. He being restrained from Jess Kersey.
Pat is waving his hands, and Jesse thought he wanted to give him a high five or a high 10.
He was trying to give him a hard time, is what he's trying to do.
A football player.
Rocky at the free throw line hits the first. I think it's Rocky, isn't it?
Yes.
He's measuring it. Pat goes over to make sure he can see the board. Rocky is good on both. Almost stolen on the inbounds. LeSueur had it for a moment. 9 seconds to go. 69ers were the last chance here to score. Foley Jones shovels it up, follows his own shot, and tips it in.
Foley Jones, 2 points.
And there's
What a way to end it up. That was excellent.
Final score, class of 89, 77. the class of 69-52.
There you see your final score, and both teams meeting and congratulating each
We
other.
appreciate your attendance.
Well, Bob, it's been fun.
This is great. I'm glad that Scotty called me in the middle of the week, said he's got to go ahead to do this. He said the only thing to get a crew together, and I said, well, if I know Tim, he'll be ready to go if we can get the word to him soon enough. And this has been great. We've really enjoyed it.
Well, we thank all the folks here who have helped our crew set up today, and a special thanks to our crew. This, of course, is a Sunday game. Our crew gave up their time to be here, and of course, that's nothing new. This crew is always ready, willing to go. Scotty Bowers, Bev Penn, Angela, Slow-Mo Joe, and yourself and myself. We've enjoyed bringing it to you. And we'll be coming back to you before you know it. Now, more than likely, we'll have a live telecast, or I should say cablecast, on the 2nd of September. Our first coverage will be Hampton and Tab. If that game is not played at Darling Stadium, because the stadium is not ready, it will be a live telecast from Todd Stadium. That's going to do it. The final score, the 89ers upset the 69ers 77-52. For Bob Hintz and the entire crew, this is Tim Cole. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good afternoon.
AG could have